So it's 98.7 FM, and you, my friend, are tuned in to the New Music Show. My name's Josh, as always, up here playing a whole bunch of new stuff. And today we are here in the annals of the NBC building over here in Burbank with a couple of the guys from the Decemberists, John and Colin. How are you guys?
Very well, thanks.
Very well, thank you.
We only have one mic, so
That's
John,
okay.
you'll just have to cup your hands around your mouth and yell really loud.
Pass it down.
When he says something I agree with, I'll do this.
But it's radio, so when you're shaking your hands
Oh.
violently in the
Yeah.
air, I can't really see you.
Okay, I'll just go woo!
Perfect. Yeah, it'll
Okay.
be like a Lady Gaga interview. You just woo in the back, and that'll be absolutely wonderful. Okay, so the new CD is called "The King Is Dead." Being that the Smiths are my favorite band of all time, I have to ask. It has to have something to do with "The Queen Is Dead," right?
I'd like to leave that up for you to decide.
Woo!
And I think
That's me agreeing with Colin there.
you, as a Smiths fan, would be in a good position to make that decision.
Well, I mean, you're a Morrissey fan. I mean, you did the tour EP that I still need. That
Uh-huh.
goes for astronomical amounts of money on eBay. You know, talking about a band like that or a band like Costello that I'm about to go into, what do you guys listen to the most? Because for me, I listen to mid '80s and early '90s alternative music. But what is it that the Decemberists are listening to right now?
I feel like I'm listening to a lot of kind of all over the map. In fact, I actually just got some new speakers, and so I'm kind of going back through my record collection and listening to stuff just to listen to it on the speakers a little bit.
That's good.
And it's kind of a fun thing, and discovering, Camper Van Beethoven's record, My Beloved Revolutionary Sweetheart, sounds really good. Like, it's a really good sounding record. And I kind of tend to think like 80s, especially college rock 80s, or college rock records from the 80s are sort of infamously bad sounding, you
Right.
know? We all love them, we adore them, but even if they were well produced, they were probably well produced in a fashion that
Right.
doesn't really hold up, or they were recorded by Spot at the SST studios
Yes.
or something like that. And but I can safely say that My Beloved Revolutionary Sweetheart sounds really great. So that's what I've been listening to.
Oh yeah, I don't have anything specifically. I think I listen to a lot of the Saints, and I listen to a lot of like the Verlaines, for instance. Now, how do you think they were recorded?
Well, I think they hold up. I mean, a lot of that New Zealand
sounds pretty
stuff
good.
holds up.
Right.
I think because they were all recorded on little 4 tracks.
Yeah, it's like there's thick bass kick notes and bass sounds, and
Yeah.
it's not hi-fi, but it's warm and surrounds you nicely.
All right, in keeping with the classical alternative vein, a lot has been made over the last X amount of years of the Decemberist and the concept album, and instead of that, I've always thought of it, and I'm about to use a term that makes me sound kind of like a douche, that the way, whenever I listen to a Decemberist record, it doesn't sound as much like a full concept record as it does like a cinematic quality to it, where someone like Costello, it's like, watching The Detectives, for example, it's like you're reading a script. And then when I saw the video for O Valencia, that all kind of clicked onto me as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if there's a question in here, or I just felt like saying all of that to prove that I know a couple of big words. But, is that a conscious way that you write, with a story in mind and kind of mapping out where these characters are going to go? You know what I mean?
I think that I guess the narrative quality of the songs, the ones that are narrative, I kind of tend to be a little over the top in that cinematic way. I think that somehow appeals to me, So yeah, and then the concepts, and then they've in the past have stretched over from song to song to actually take over whole records. These narratives. But I think what you're saying is true.
All right, so tell us a little bit about having Peter Buck from REM, once again keeping in the classical alternative vein, on the record. It's been my experience with Peter that you can either get the nicest guy on the planet or quite possibly the most surly guy on the planet.
Oh, really?
And I think it really depends on the wine intake more than anything else. So
Uh-huh.
how was your, there you go. There's John agreeing with us. So how was your Peter Buck in the studio?
Peter Buck our Peter Buck was very gracious
Yeah.
and sober, as far as I could tell. I think we might have tippled a little, like I can't remember. But I think that, yeah, we I guess, I've never seen the angry Peter Buck, but I think...
I didn't say angry, I
But
said
surly.
surly.
I can see him being surly, but I have yet to witness that.
One time I had Peter come in and I was recording a session, and after the third or fourth take, he looked over and you could tell he wanted to say, "I'm Peter Buck and I don't want to do this anymore." And before he did, I was like, "Well, I mean, you're Peter Buck and you don't really have to do this anymore." And it was just like this weight off his shoulders. He's like, "All right, we're leaving. Okay, have a good day, and we'll see you later." And it was like there was something with tuning or something. It didn't really sound all that good. Okay, so there are definitely songs on the new record that have an REM sort of feel to them. I think favorite REM album of all time.
I think it would be a toss-up between Reckoning and Life's Rich Pageant, myself.
Oh man, I remember.
Remember?
Okay, so now we are up to the 5 random questions segment of our interview. What was the last thing that you stole?
The last thing that I stole, I feel like, and something just came up that I had stolen. I stole a small statue of I think Athena, goddess Athena,
With a big shield.
with a big shield. It's either Athena but Ares was a man. Right?
Yeah.
Right.
That was Athena. And I stole it from a green room. I feel actually probably bad about it. I think it was in some nice theater somewhere, and it was part of the decorations.
Don't look at me. Do you feel bad? Or
I feel bad about that, but I did steal it. I don't know why.
I'd like to just say that today I didn't steal a hanger. I desperately needed one for my hotel. And it wasn't one of those kind that just hooks
Right.
in the doohickey. You know, it was a real hanger. Could have had it. Nice wood.
You didn't steal it.
I didn't. So
What-
what's
what-
going on
what
there?
is the last thing
Now
you
I look
stole?
at you and say, what's happening?
What was the last thing you stole?
I don't know.
Probably a hanger.
It's not like
Somewhere.
I'm not squeaky clean, but I don't remember. But I didn't today.
Well, obviously, John, next time you need a hanger, just send Colin in there. Because, I mean, he's a
I have no
master
compunction.
thief over here. Okay, let's see. When was the last time that you cried and why?
Oh wow, that's heavy. That's really heavy. Let's see. I cried I was watching a documentary about called Mugabe and the White African, and it really, really powerful about the Zimbabwe government taking farmland from white farmers in Zimbabwe after nationalizing the farm. And this documentary is probably the most insane documentary I've ever seen, and I totally wept at the end.
I cried last night.
That's all you need to hear.
What was the very first car you ever owned?
The first car I ever owned was a 1986 Toyota Tercel.
69 VW bug.
Whoa, hippie.
Come on, man.
What is your most prized possession? And I'm not talking about, like, your wife's love or something like that. I mean, something that you can hold. What is your most prized possession?
Not, I guess you can't call it your child.
No, that doesn't count.
So no
That's,
human
no,
thing.
that's cheating, too.
Yeah.
My most prized possession. What is my most prized possession? My most prized possession. A good. Slow brains. See, you get to do these questions second. And
I still don't have anything either.
still don't have
No.
anything. My most prized possession.
Take the high road, man. You're not into material things.
I'm not into material things. I like
Cop out.
my Chemex coffee maker.
You do?
That's my favorite
That's
possession.
awesome. That's totally awesome.
Beat that.
Dang. Well, I was gonna say some guitar or something, but
Yeah.
I'd just be making something up. I don't really have something that's crucial. I don't think.
There you go.
Favorite cartoon of all time?
Cartoon, like Saturday morning cartoon kind of style. Favorite Hercules.
Cartoon?
Yeah.
Why don't I watch with my kid these days? I really like Sid the Science Kid. No, I'm just kidding. I don't like that one. Dr. Seuss. No, I don't like that one. I don't know. I don't have a favorite cartoon. I watch Real People. I don't like cartoons.
There you go.
How old's your kid?
3.5.
So not into Dora and Diego and stuff like that?
She's way in. She has like the bag and the hat, but I can't.
When are the Decemberists going to be on Yo Gabba Gabba? They must have asked you by now,
We
right?
did a tune.
We did a song. I don't know if it's been announced yet, but yeah, there'll be some Decemberist Yo Gabba Gabba involvement.
It's so strange that Yo Gabba Gabba is made for the most discerning indie rock parents of all time. That I'll never forget. The other day I was watching it with my kid, and she came in. My kid is 5, and she came in and goes, "Dad, who's the Red House Painters?" And I was like, "What? They're the most suicide-inducing band of all time." And she's like, "There's a singer for the Red House Painters," Mom said, "and he sings a lullaby on Yo Gabba." I was like, "Turn it off!"
Wow.
Jesus Christ! God, Mark Kozlik, God, that guy, he's like 3 steps down from Elliott Smith on the depression scale. And but the people that they have on there are just amazing. Like Smoosh is on there, and like Mark Kozlik and things like that. All right, well, cool. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Have a good time.
Thank you.
And we will see the Decemberists coming up at the Wiltern next month. It's 98.7 FM.